Women educators are natural givers, pouring into their students, their families, and communities. But what about pouring into you? This is the Educator Sanctuary, where we help you ditch the guilt and unapologetically put yourself at the top of your list. I'm Dr. Leah, educator, mindset coach, and your guide to creating a life where you align with your purpose and reclaim your power. So if you're ready to set boundaries and step fully into the woman you're meant to be, you're definitely in the right place. Let's get into it. Hey, and welcome back to the Educator Sanctuary. If you are new here, I want to officially welcome you to this space where we have big conversations, mindset shifts, personal growth, and all the things that help us live more intentionally. I know that most weeks we talk about mindset, but this week I actually wanted to get into something a little bit more practical. When you saw the title, you probably saw Nourished to Prosper, and you definitely was wondering where I was going with that this week. But this week I'm actually talking about literal food. And y'all know that if I am talking about it, there has to be something personal attached to it. And you would be right. So for the past few weeks, I have been feeling a little bit off. Not like sick or anything, and not technically burned out, but just drained. And when I say drained, I mean like when I do all the right things, when I drink my water, when I'm eating better, when I'm moving my body 5 to 6 days a week, I still felt very heavy, sluggish, and really tired. Like tired, I'm coming home from work taking naps. Tired. And at first I thought maybe it was because, I had been putting in a little bit extra hours, sometimes staying up later than normal. And I know that as we age, we can't pull these all-nighters anymore. But I was so deeply invested in sleeping. I'm like, you know what? It has to be something else going on with my body that I just don't know about. And it's really time to pay attention. And so I just kind of thought about the fact that I would typically do a food detox at least twice per year, because leaky gut is absolutely real and gut health is absolutely necessary. But with all the life transitions that I've had, I really just haven't committed 100% to my healthy living detoxes. I've had everything from a torn Achilles tendon to getting a divorce to moving across the country to starting a new business. Like, it's just been so much that even though I felt like I was probably doing my best, I wasn't, because I normally, like I said, would do the detoxes at least twice per year, and I had not done those. And so that's how I landed on starting an anti-inflammatory diet. And don't let that word scare you. It's nothing super extreme, and we're going to talk about it here. And so first I want to talk about the fact that inflammation in itself is not solely about your joints aching or your stomach bloating, although those are the physical things that show up. It's also an internal unrest that shows up in, how you're waking up, the way you think every day, how you move throughout your day, the habits that you do or don't do. Now, I'm only in day 2 because I just started, but for the most part, I was not liking the way that I was feeling. So I said, I'm just going to go cold turkey into this, even though I probably wouldn't suggest that for anyone else. But I have been doing this. So I just said, I'm just going to cut out my sugar, my dairy, which I don't really eat much of that, but I do dibble and dabble in maybe yogurt or something here or there. In my own defense, it doesn't matter whether the yogurt is oat milk or Greek yogurt made with skim milk. They all make me a little bit uncomfortable, if you know what I mean. So I decided no sugar, no dairy, no processed foods. And I'm going to just love on myself a lot better and be more intentional about getting up and prepping my foods, taking my lunch with me, things like that. I pretty much replaced my usual grab and go snacks, which probably consisted of Jolly Rancher gummies and an occasional bag of Funyuns here and there, because onions are veggies and it's not my fault that someone threw grease on them and fried them up and stuck them in a bag. But seriously, I replaced my grab and go snacks with more whole foods. I replaced my chicken tender orders from PDQ, one of my favorite places, with grilled salmon and roasted veggies. And I replaced my occasional Ben & Jerry cravings with strawberry protein shakes, double on the frozen strawberries. The first 2 days, I was really struggling. The sugar withdrawals are so real, y'all. So while I typically do not eat sugar regularly, like I don't cook with sugar, I try not to have a lot of things in my house with the high fructose corn syrup. The Jolly Ranchers gummies definitely had me in a chokehold. And to be honest, if I'm really thinking about it, it didn't matter if I wasn't eating sugar regularly, if I was going to down bags of Jolly Rancher gummies. So I had to learn to manage my 2 p.m. crash without the gummies. And just let me tell you, I've been a little bit sad about releasing them. Although I have to admit, I'm still not where I need to be on energy. I have been using a little pre-workout even when I don't work out, just to kind of give me that boost that I have needed instead of like coffee. And there is green tea that I'm going to be trying out in the next couple of days, but I feel like I'll be over the hump since the first few days are always the hardest. But for right now, I definitely have been needing a little boost. Now, because of this, I don't know if my phone has been listening to me or not, but I logged into social media and I started hearing more and more women talking about the same thing, that they were feeling tired and groggy and bloated no matter what they ate. And so I always wonder if it's our food, and I really should just say, I know that it's our food, right? Like, we're not being served real food. A lot of the things that we think are food, they're putting in so many additives and chemicals and fillers that we have to be able to be so mindful about that and stop taking shortcuts and fueling properly. And again, I am the number one person here. I'm talking about me. If this happens to resonate with you too, keep listening. But I just know that what I am pretty much going through in terms of like the bloat is not normal, because a lot of times, like, I knew that if I ate bread or flour, taco shells or something like that, that it would happen. But I had stopped eating bread and I still was experiencing the bloat. And so I just started taking notes of like, okay, today I didn't really eat any carb. Today I had, steak and avocado with berries and I still bloated. So that's why I knew that I had to do something different and that this was just not a normal response to food. So when I decided to just go ahead and reset my body, I'm going to be completely real. Like, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm not out here making gourmet kale bowls for lunch every day, but I am adding in more whole foods, focusing on just cutting out sugar, processed snacks, and all the things that were slowly creeping in while I was trying to get through the day. Again, the big mess ups were choosing quick grab and go things, not necessarily being prepared for the day. Really, it's just about being intentional. I honestly did not even realize how much those little food decisions were really weighing me down, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And I know better. When your body is in constant survival mode, it's tired, it's bloated, and it's inflamed, like how I'm feeling, it's not only hard to just have energy every day, but it's hard to focus. It's hard to make great decisions. It's hard to show up for anything new because you're just trying to literally make it through the day. Literally last week, I made an entire game plan for how I would reach a personal goal for something that I knew that I wanted to get done. The plan was solid, and internally I was really excited. Like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, I was just so excited to be able to execute. But instead of executing, I literally sat on my couch, doom scrolling and catching naps. I was talking to myself like, girl, you got to get up and do something. But then I also was replying to myself like, girl, but I'm so tired. I just need to rest. And then I would just do that, like random naps throughout the day. And I haven't been ill, thankfully, in a sense of, I haven't had any colds or flus or anything like that. And I'm so grateful and thankful for that. I have been keeping up with my vitamins, my fiber supplement. I have been taking all those things, but honestly, those are just band-aids when you really know that you're not doing the other things that matter, such as eating a little bit cleaner. So I just decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do a reset. I'm going to reset my mind, my body, and everything else, because I know for a fact that I'm in a season right now where God is calling me to do more and positioning me for more. And instead of taking action and standing up and doing the work, I'm laying down and taking a nap. So for me, this is not about jumping on a diet or a trend, trying to fit into a certain size or anything like that. It's more about checking in with myself and being true to myself, right? So asking myself, is what I'm eating helping me feel like the best version of me? Am I nourishing myself in a way that supports my energy so that I can fulfill my purpose with clarity? Am I feeding my body in a way that reflects how I want to show up in the world? I always talk about being my highest and best self, right? Would the highest and best version of myself be taking shortcuts on diet and nutrition and getting through the day with an occasional apple and a bag of Jolly Rancher gummies? Probably not. So now, because I know I cannot be the only one, here's the part where I probably should have invited a nutritionist to the show so that I could ask all the questions. And trust me, next time I'm definitely going to do that. But for today, I'm actually going to put my own certification to good use, and I'm going to break down a few things that I know that some of you all are probably wondering. So we're going to do a little Q&A where I'm going to ask and I'm going to answer like I do when I talk to myself while I'm sitting on my couch. Anyway, so what exactly is inflammation and why does it matter? So inflammation is pretty much your body's natural response to stress, whether it's physical, emotional, or environmental. It's basically your immune system waving a red flag saying, hey, something's not right. You're not treating me right. We're not on the same page. And in small doses, you can take care of that pretty quickly. But when it starts to become chronic, it weighs down on your entire system. Fatigue, joint pain, brain fog, stubborn weight, you name it. Your body is fighting something all the time and is actually exhausted. And I was definitely doing that to my body. And I'm so sorry. I deeply and completely forgive me and love me. So what kinds of foods cause inflammation? So this one hurts, but in America, we got to say goodbye to pretty much everything that is not in the perimeter of the store because it's not food. It's mostly processed sugars, fried foods, refined carbs, and sneaky oils like the canola oils and vegetable oils that they chemically process. The dairy, none of it is really good for us long term, which unfortunately we can't control it a lot because even when we think that we're doing the right thing, they're labeling things and telling us that it's good, and then we're finding out that it's not. So we really just have to do our best and pray over your food. What foods fight inflammation? So I mentioned that perimeter of the store, right? So think whole, colorful, nutrient-dense foods. Those are really your best friends. Stay on the outer skirts of the store and pretty much don't go down the aisle for the most part. Or channel your inner Nourishment if you guys watch her on TikTok and just start making everything from scratch. Now, I'm not a from scratch girly, okay? But I will do the best that I can and go back to my 85-15 lifestyle. It's pretty much 85% whole nutritious foods and 15%, play around a little bit and have a little bit of fun. Is this about losing weight or is this about feeling better? Now, for me, it's about feeling better. Point blank and period. Because I'm smart enough to know that when my body's inflamed, not only can the weight creep in, but more importantly, my mind slows down. I don't want to do as much. I am not as productive. My energy is off. My whole life starts to feel heavier. I'm not reaching my goals, right? So I know for a fact that when the body is nourished, you give your spirit room to breathe. So while weight loss is definitely probably going to happen because it is the byproduct of a healthy body, the actual goal is to feel more clear, more energized, and more whole. So if you're out there wondering how would you even start an anti-inflammatory diet without feeling overwhelmed, first things first, I'm giving my disclaimer right now. Always talk to your doctor or licensed nutritionist before starting anything new. Yes, I do have a certification, but this podcast is a general discussion and not personal advice. Got it? All right, so if you're feeling like you want to start, maybe you've been having some of these symptoms yourself, it's not super complicated. It's really just a reset. And it's about going back to the basics, meaning like organic proteins, if you can, grass-fed beef, organic chicken, turkey. If you are vegetarian or vegan, maybe you're doing tofu or something like that. Real food with ingredients you can actually pronounce. Now, I can pretty much shop in this manner because I've spent years reading labels. So I pretty much know which brands and foods that I would like to buy and which ones that I do not want to buy. Fruits and veggies that you enjoy. You don't have to eat anything you don't like. There are plenty of foods in the rainbow. When I say rainbow, I mean eat your colors. There's plenty of foods in a rainbow to choose from. So you never have to eat anything that you don't enjoy. Drink lots and lots of water. Now for me, the first few days, I am drinking alkaline water, which, helps give my system a boost in resetting. But spring water is really good as well. Making sure you're eating enough calories for your body type and lifestyle. This is super important because this is not a diet. So you don't want to undereat calories. Your body's already going to be fighting you because it's going to pretty much dislike you for getting rid of the sugar, for getting rid of the carbs, and getting rid of all the things that it enjoys, that comfort food. So you don't need to also undereat in calories too. Consider your lifestyle. Are you working out? Because then you'll need a few more calories. So I would definitely say focus on your proteins and your calories. Fueling your body also with the right vitamins and minerals that it needs. Again, if you are going to take supplements, you want to talk to your appropriate people for that. Now, if you are looking for a resource to start with, like you need something concrete, this is just not good enough. I actually like the book, Eat Right for Your Blood Type. It's very helpful if you want to get into how your blood type might affect how you process food. Or if that is not, your cup of tea, you could just Google something like Whole30 or even a similar like clean eating plan to find what feels more realistic for you. Because really, I always say the best nutritional plan is the one that you're going to be able to keep, because this is about adopting a lifestyle. It's not about a diet. Again, you want to be able to adopt something that you can actually do that feels comfortable and natural for you. And if you're taking care of a family, then you want it to feel comfortable for you and your family. Now, you're never aiming for perfect. You're just aiming for nourishment. I always say if you're doing something to get 1% better every day, then you're doing a great job. But chasing after being nourished means that you can think clearer, you can show up stronger for yourself and for your goals, and that's essentially how you're going to be able to prosper. So that's pretty much it. If this episode gave you a little nudge, reminded you to check in with yourself, or even made you curious about what's going on inside of your body, I am so glad it did. And this is how we're going to start shifting to be that 1% better that I just mentioned every single day. If you're also ready to keep growing and glowing, don't forget the devotional that pours into you that I discussed last week. And I'll add it again this week, but it's called Minding Your Own Heart Space. It's a 30-day devotional of mindset work, scripture, journaling, and clarity that'll help you align your heart with your habits. You do not have to keep pushing through all the time. You can let this devotional walk you through how to show up and be your highest and best self easily and effortlessly. And of course, if you need a moment of peace on the go, please don't forget to tap into my YouTube affirmations at The Educator Sanctuary. Whether you're feeling overwhelmed, unfocused, or you just need to be reminded that you've got this, there's a word of affirmation and encouragement waiting for you there. Remember, you were never meant to run on empty, so I hope this inspired you to nourish yourself and honor yourself most importantly. I will see you all next week. You've got this. Talk soon. Thank you for joining me in the Educator Sanctuary, where we create a space for women educators to reclaim their power and prioritize themselves unapologetically. If you've loved what you've heard, please do not forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with other amazing women who need to hear this message. Until next time, remember, you are capable, you are powerful, and you are absolutely worthy. You've got this. Talk soon.